Hello, welcome to Ocean Yemi's. I don't know how short this is gonna be. I know I have somebody coming, but um, as you've seen by the title, this is about the plantation that burnt down, and I believe there's reasons why this has happened as well. I also believe that Annabelle Doll must have done has a little bit to do something with it. Now, the thing is about this that how this place that burnt down, they were doing tours on it, they was getting doing weddings on it. I know there is Whitney Plantation where they actually um do it for people to visit it and see the conditions of which the people before suffered, and how and the pains and stuff like that. And I believe it's similar to, I say, I mean, a castle situation, yeah. So I believe that because like it's interesting because in even when you're the watching it burn, you do actually see little formations take place within on top of the building, the sides of the building. Um, I also saw a video where a lady tried to make it like as though it was a happy, like the slaves was happy and this and that. And I just like, wow. I'm just like, you know, I feel that some people are evil inwardly, outwardly, however you want to put it. I don't know. I just feel that people suffered at this place. And I think it's the same place they filmed American Horror Story, with the lady who used to have pleasure in um, giving the slaves pain in that same house, Miss Laurie. And I don't know whether it's the same house or but it gives me that inkling of that. Now, I know people are saying, oh, it's sad that that place went. To me, it, the burning down is significant. I believe it needed to go. I believe it needed to go. I ain't gonna lie. I also believe that when they was trying to out the fire reunited and it continued to burn. And the souls that was captured in that house, because like there's people probably was buried on the property, pains on there, all sorts of things, like you know what I mean. And um, I'm hoping that the souls have left that place because I remember watching Ghost Adventurers, one of the Ghost Adventurers series, and in it they went to a house where slaves was kept as well, and they walked with a couple priests as well, traditional priest, and um Neve, no, it wasn't Neve. When I forgot his name, the one that went into the house, he said he can feel the pains. It was such a sad and eerie place. It's underneath one house, and they kept it as a museum. And um, to me, I feel that how people needs to see the things that was done. It's just like Auschwitz and other things. You know what I mean? Like people say that how black people always talk about slavery and they use it as a crutch and blah 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 blah. No, it's a lesson. It's a lesson. Like humanity. Humanity is one of those things where like racism is the most nastiest, lowest, low grade a human can go to, especially to how they treated the people. Like you know what I mean? I believe that was that this had to happen. And high, high, high prime. I believe it had to happen. To me, it was up to me. All of them would have been all been burnt, right? Because the pain that was on that place, all right, the pain that's on that place. Sometimes, yes, I feel that when movies immortalize certain stuff like Goodnight Uncle Tom, I think there's a film, it's like made in Brazil, and that really shows the real of the pains of the people. You're treated like cattle. You are not seen as human. Yes, the place was evil. Yes, yes. You're not seen as a human being. You're seen as stock. You're seen as stock. To this day, there is some type of slavery going on now. It's only because like people are kind of blinded and in their little world and they think these things don't exist. Or maybe they think it exists, but as long as it's not near me, it's okay. That's how people tend to think. Now, it was an evil place. It's an evil place, right? Even there's a IG of this lady talking about, oh, they were happy and we tried to keep them together and all this. They were like playthings with like toys, with like breeders, was like, how else can I put it? The men was like bucks, treated people's family being ripped, the grapes. I don't know why it's shaking like that. Grapes and all sorts of things going on. Hi Sonia. Grapes. Um, um, Men, women, babies being thrown to crocodiles as baits, hands being chopped off because you ran away, lynched. Um, the list goes on. Like the suffering. When they, I think, rebellious ones was treated the worst, right? And I feel that there is systematic racism to this day. There's institutional racism, there's systematic racism. That house is full of blood, tears, all sorts on it. Yeah, and then they did weddings and parties on it. I remember one time one picture came out of this interracial couple, and the man dressed as a slave and she dressed as the mistress, and people was not happy with that picture at all. I remember when that came out. I remember when that came out, and he was saying no, I wanted to do it, and and I was thinking, what possessed you to even put that in your mind, to even come up with such an idea that you would want to feel that you have to replay certain things out, where like you're the slave and she's the mistress, right? In those days, right? I think even Sonia Massey's great grandfather went through the same thing because he was with a white woman, and I can't remember what happened. Something happened, and they lit the whole of where they were living. It was like they massacred them. They massacred. Everybody knows about Rosewood. Um, certain things that went on, right? You would know that you would not want to even have that building stand in that space there, because you would want it gone. Like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy to me. But whatever sparked that fire or whatever happened to make that place come down, good, because there's many of them. There's many plantations around. I think the Whitney one is the most known one in the Americas. And I was like, I remember I seen videos where people visited the Whitney plantation and they can't believe the conditions, the slaves' quarters, the the um the master's quarters. If he was mulatto, maybe you could come in. This, that, what I mean? It's just craziness. The craziness is on such a levels. It's wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Wickedness. Like, let me see. I can get the video of it burning down. They called it a historical space, isn't it? I think Antebellum was filmed there as well. I'm not sure. I remember watching a little bit. I can only get through some of Antebellum. When you watch certain things and you can only get through some of the movie, the film. Me, I can only get through some movie now. I can't sit through certain movies now. Straight away, it's like you. I mean, some people will say slavery didn't exist. Oh, it didn't exist. It didn't exist. It didn't exist. These houses show that these things happen, right? There's books, there's records. They recorded everything, even over here. There's a man that wrote a book called Forbidden Love, and in the book, right, he had some. I think he had slaves as well. In the book, he wrote about all the slave women that he raped, and he documented it, and it became a book. I remember hearing about it, like I think the late 90s. I heard about it. I can't remember, but that was one of the books. They recorded everything. Even over here in England, there's records of the stuff. When you go to the British Museum, you see lots of stuff stolen, lots of stuff, shackles. Even when they talk about Wilberforce was supposed to be the so-called savior and all that stuff. And I forgot his name. Akuyemi, I think his name, wrote a book because they was trying to get it abolished, and a lot of the people was mad when they tried to get it abolished. And if it was up to them, people were still being chained now, but the chains is different. The chains is not chains on your hand now. The chains is on your mind. The chains is certain stuff where like people are stuck in certain stuff. I can't even word it right now. But anyways, let me see if I could pull up one of the newscasts of this place burning. Maybe Annabelle trickled something, because Annabelle went to Louisiana, so something must have happened. Annabelle trickled something.
White Castle has been declared a total loss after a massive fire yesterday afternoon. Officials are now working to clear the remains of the historic site. Jordan Ponzio joins us live in Naperville Parish as that cleanup continues.
Brittany, it's now been over 24 hours since that fire started, and the fire marshal's office is here currently investigating the cause of that fire that completely destroyed the Nottoway Plantation mansion. That fire started a little after 2 p.m. yesterday in the south wing of the mansion. 10 different fire departments responded to the fire. After the first couple of hours, it seemed that it was contained until high winds caused it to spark. I was here this morning throughout o'clock. We're still dousing the structure with water as hot spots kept arriving. I spoke with the mayor. Displays.
Facility like this is the installations are built out of, and once something like this gets going, it's really hard to stop.
Now, the cause of that fire is still under investigation. We will, of course, give you that update when we get it. Reporting live in White Castle, Jordan Ponzio, WBRZ News 2.
You see his face though. He's like, he's hurt. It's gone. He's hurt. It's gone. It's gone. You know why the wind blasts like that? Because it had to go. That's why the wind blow back like that. That's why it reunited the thing. Because it had to burn down. That's why. And I don't know. Oh, we got to figure out what happened. No, it had to burn down. Simple as. Simple is. No way, no cut teeth, no nothing. Because there's loads of pain on that plot. Pain, suffering, all sorts of things on that plot. Even I could not even imagine the pain that went on in that plot. I know there's others. So I'm waiting to see whether it's going to happen again. Because they're glorifying it and prettying it up, changing, oh, it was like this. There people who was living like that, getting beaten, all sorts of things used to go on because, their masters was nothing. There's something else. Even me sitting here could not imagine the pain that was happened there. Right? Me could not imagine it, right? Right? Because sometimes, right, sometimes when I feel certain things happen, sometimes it happened for a reason. Maybe that had to go, that had to move because the things that went on there, right? So people crying, oh, it's gone, whatever. They was doing tours on here. They was doing tours at this place, right? They was doing tours on there and all that stuff. There was weddings. What else was they doing on there? Just doing too much. Just doing too much. And you know what the ancestors said? The ancestors said, no, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. You know what I'm saying? Right? Let me see if I can play this. Because some of them, they are together and they had to dance and do certain things in secret. I don't even know if they would let me keep this up. Because you know they're feisty already. Oh, they took it off. They took it off. Okay. Can't do that one then. Okay. Let's do... Let me see. They say it was haunted as well. So they had visits there. What else did they have there? It was up for sale. It was up for sale. The place was up for sale as well. It was up for sale. Where's that? Is that for sale as well? If you can see this, see what's up. I think this is the same one. Or is this a different one? Was that, well, one of them was up for sale. So one of them was up for sale. What else? What else was going on? Was up for sale? What else was going on? Trying to find it, excuse me. I know normally I have everything lined up, but you know, there's one. I think they said it was one of the cotton something. You can't remember what it said. Oh, yeah. Louisiana plantation history is deeply rooted in the 18th century when the French colony offered a large tracts of land to the settlers who would bring in labor, primarily enslaved people, to work the land. The invention of the cotton, gin, and development of sugar plantation led to the system of single crops on large estates fueled by enslaved labor. By the Civil War, Louisiana had numerous plantations with sugar cane. Cotton became major cash crops. There's more. Let me see. It's got a lot of historical stuff here. Oh, that's Whitney. That's Whitney Plantation. Okay, let's get it. Good morning. Have any locks? Oh, I'm fine. People don't realize there's a spiritual world just like the hurricanes are the spirit of the ancestors lost to the sea. Yes. Thanks. See, I love my audience. Yes. True. And that wind that blew, there's a reason why the wind blew back so that the thing can ignite. There's a reason. So don't carry on like it's a joke. Like you want to dance on people's dead bodies and stuff, yeah?
25. Flames engulfed Louisiana's famed Nottoway Plantation, reducing one of the largest, most opulent antebellum mansions to ashes. Yet behind its striking columns and its polished chandeliers and its lavish rooms lay an unsettling truth, a history woven into America's darkest fabric, the exploitation and oppression of enslaved Black lives. So today we're going to peel away the layers of grandeur and confront the powerful, uncomfortable narrative hidden behind Nottoway Plantation. So join me today while we discuss the destruction of Nottoway. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. If you like audio-only episodes, you can find my podcast wherever you get your podcast. But without further ado, let's get started. To understand the dark history of the Nottoway Plantation, it requires stepping back to the antebellum era, stretching from the War of 1812 until the onset of the Civil War in 1861. During these decades, Southern agriculture experienced an explosion of growth driven by global demand for cash crops like cotton, tobacco, rice, and especially sugar. Southern plantations swiftly embraced these lucrative commodities, amassing tremendous fortunes that generated tremendous political and social influence. Sugar emerged as a particularly profitable, and Louisiana was perfectly suited for sugarcane's finicky cultivation. Rapidly, it became America's sugar bowl, hinting at the sweetness but also masking the undeniable human suffering. Growing and harvesting sugar demanded punishing labor year round, infamous for its harsh intensity, unyielding workdays, and dangerous conditions. Unlike cotton plantations, which offered a short period of relative downtime, sugar plantations required constant, grueling labor. The planters oversaw enslaved African Americans as essential machines rather than human beings, systematically forcing their bodies and spirits beyond endurance to maximize profits. On sugar plantations, enslaved black men and women rose at dawn, harvesting in the blistering heat with machete like tools designed to slice through tough sugar stalks. Loaded into carts, the stalks were then rushed over to sugar mills where enslaved laborers operated dangerous machinery designed to press the juice from the harvested crops. The boiling cauldrons, powerful presses, and the constant threat of horrific burns, injuries, and even death. Such awful conditions meant that life expectancy for enslaved individuals on sugar plantations was significantly lower than on farms cultivating other less taxing crops. An awful calculation that planters simply accepted, believing that black human life was disposable in the pursuit of profits. Within this brutal economic system stood the Nottoway Plantation. Positioned proudly on the banks of the Mississippi River, it was established in 1859 by John Hampton Randolph, a Virginia planter who migrated southward to exploit Louisiana's sugar boom. Nottoway quickly became emblematic of Southern wealth and power. Randolph understood the lucrative possibilities sugar cultivation offered. In the ambitious and unrelenting pursuit of wealth, he eventually controlled over 6,200 acres of fertile land, with 1,200 of those acres being exclusively dedicated to sugar production. To maximize his profits, Randolph held at his height 155 enslaved African Americans forced to work, live, and die on his plantation. Randolph expressed his wealth boldly, commissioning New Orleans architect Henry Howard to craft a home of unparalleled wealth and size. Built largely from local cypress timber, sourced, prepared, and painstakingly assembled entirely through enslaved labor, Nottoway Plantation stretched nearly 53,000 square feet with 63 opulent rooms, 156 doors and windows, state of the art gas lighting, advanced indoor plumbing, and 22 towering columns gracefully overlooking the riverbanks. Upon the mansion's completion, Randolph went as far as destroying the architect's original plans, preventing anyone else from recreating Nottoway's splendor. Yet, beyond the marble tile and the intricate embellishment, each breathtaking room stood as a monument to human suffering. Nottoway was not merely a mansion, it was a gleaming monument to Randolph's wealth, built entirely on stolen freedom, relentless suffering, and enslaved labor. Life in Nottoway resembled life at countless plantations across the South, marked by constant physical exhaustion, terrorizing violence, and emotional torment. Randolph's enslaved workers spent their days planting, cultivating, and harvesting sugarcane under the punishing Louisiana sun. Overseers forced an atmosphere of relentless productivity, threatening and inflicting physical punishment through brutal whippings and beatings. Families lived under the ever present threat of loved ones being torn away, sold off, and separated forever at their master's whim, creating psychological scars and emotional torment through countless generations. Within this stark and humbling slave quarters, life was a testament to resilience amidst brutality. Enslaved black men, women, and children endured unimaginable hardship and humanity systematically stripped away through relentless deprivation and oppressive surveillance embedded into the plantation's architecture itself. Yet, As tensions grew across America, the eruption of the Civil War in 1861 thrust plantations like Nottoway into uncertainty, threatening the very foundations of their existence and the complex systems of forced labor upon which they relied. Battles raged across the country, and freedom became entangled for millions of enslaved people, and the era of relentless oppression began to crumble. By the war's close in 1865, Nottoway's plantation stood remarkably untouched, only bearing minor physical scars of the conflict. Only a stray grape shot lodged into a once pristine column hinted at the turbulent times that the mansion had endured. Yet, beyond this facade of longevity and grandeur, the harsh realities of the post war South quickly closing in. For planters like John Randolph, they were once powerful and prosperous through enforced and unpaid labor of enslaved African Americans. The war's outcome shattered their economic dominance. Suddenly confronted with the abolition of slavery, Randolph and contemporaries were met with a grim economic reckoning. Thousands of acres of cultivated fields they had relied on for enslaved labor dramatically shrunk, leaving owners burdened with mounting debts and dwindling fortune. Nottoway's once thriving estate, spanning thousands of acres, was eventually reduced down to just 800 acres. Yet, across the South, plantation owners grappled desperately with ruin. The Southern economy staggered. Once wealthy planters faced an uncertain future. In response, Southern planters turned to a system that replicated slavery's profitability and control. Sharecropping. Under this seemingly fair arrangement, Black families would rent parcels of land, paying a substantial portion of their harvest as rent. Yet, quickly, sharecropping revealed an exploitative heart. Planters manipulated contracts, charged.
Now, those certain things turns up in the piano, right? Certain things turn up in the piano about all this, right? All this, what he's talking about, right? This turns up in the piano and certain movies and certain places and certain histories where people say slavery didn't exist, isn't it, right? Well, here we have a house that people built, enslaved people built, right? And because of the abolition of the abolitionists stopped slavery, right? They tried to sell the people, like, or rent them, as it seemed, the land that they were toiling on, right, which is the same space that the plantation was on, right. But then they will go, right, then they will go and they would exploit the land that the people was trying to get. I'll tell you, it's crazy, right? Anyways, good. I'm glad it bonded. I'm not sorry. I'm glad. Let's continue.
Exorbitant prices for supplies, enforcing unfair obligations, and debt that became impossible to escape. Rather than freedom, sharecropping imposed a cycle of poverty, generational economic entrapment, and exploitation that mirrored slavery in all but the name. And as the Southern economy was attempting to repair itself, a disturbing transformation began to take hold. Rather than confronting the powerful truths of enslaved suffering, plantation estates and their wealthy owners gradually began to reinvent themselves, shaping a sanitized, romanticized mythology of the antebellum life. Vast mansions, sprawling gardens, and wide porches became symbols of imagined elegance and refinement. Brochures and postcards invited tourists across America to marvel at the South's support.
Tours, weddings, what else? Parties. What was the next thing? Tours. Let me think. Tours, weddings, parties, probably reconstructions of little things or whatever. Like, okay, let me give you an example. Even over here, one time, right, they had this black man under a table holding up the table while the two people sat on the sides of him. There was nearly an uproar over here about that. There's a big uproar over here about that. Because I believe that how people would love it to go back to that situation. Like the suffering, right? That's why people have to achieve and try and achieve, because people literally went through hell and high water for you to have the freedom that you have. People suffered for you to get through to what you have to get through. That's why people always remember slavery, particularly because I feel like the people was pulled away for so many of their family, right? They came from all parts, all over places. And I know, and you know, people say, well, the ship didn't make it. Okay, right? Even though, right, and there was, and I believe there was black people on the land as well, right? So I'm not saying that there wasn't, right? But people lost their identity, their language, all that was stripped away from them. They were renamed. They had to do toiling work from dawn. There's this video about, it kind of talks about Stockholm syndrome, basically. It's Stockholm syndrome in slavery, where like the owner said to them, okay, right, you guys, you are free now, like you can do whatever you want and whatever. And so I can't remember if it's a proverb or something, or whether it's the actual thing that happened. They said that how it actually happened. And later on, there was so much Stockholm syndrome, right? They turned on each other. And one slave got beaten so severely he died. He died getting whipped so severely. So yeah, the fact that the place is gone is good. Where we have a link to the door reaching there, because even that is ridiculous. The way they're moving that door, that's a whole different conversation. I feel something was triggered, right? Something was triggered. That door triggered something, right? Because the door was in some part of Louisiana, some part somewhere, right? And then they moved her. They moved the door. And I believe it triggered something because like people was warned not to move this door. But they were their stupid self. You know, people love money. We're putting on tour. I'm waiting to see whether it's going to reach UK. That's what I'm waiting to see. I went and looked. They said that how they're not bringing it here. And I'm thinking, yeah, because if they bring it here, who knows what that's gonna trigger, right? And I believe that's what happened, because like I believe there is things in the spiritual realm, kind of like it gets triggered. There's something in the air. I think what Ebony is saying is key. Yes, I feel there's a lot of stuff going on. And I think that some things might be triggered. People might do. I mean, I'm not even gonna say, well, this might happen, that might happen. The best thing is to watch, because I feel this is the beginning of a lot of things to come. I mean, apart from the Californian things, people said the reason why the Californian fire started was because Didi wanted to get rid of evidence. I believe that as well. I believe there's truth in there somewhere, right? But with this thing now, the souls are in limbo. They're never at rest. You torture these people hours and hours and hours. Even the lynch one, there is a person, a man, and he goes around documenting lynches, and I think it's a man or a woman, a man. He goes around documenting lynches, and he's made a whole memorial to the people, right? Because people died unjustly. So they will never be at rest. Even now in 2025, right? People talk about ghosts. Oh, I don't believe in ghosts. Right? There is true people who see ghosts and feel stuff and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Even in the West Indies, there was a great resistance to a lot of stuff. There was a great resistance, Armistead, and all sorts of things, right? So, so, so they will try to hurt the the inside person as much as possible to get the people in fear, right? And I believe that, yes, as Jill Gary will say, yes, there is a bit of Stockholm syndrome with us, a certain post-traumatic slavery syndrome that still goes on to this day, because, and some of the younger generation do not realize certain things because they do certain things, they say stupid things, like I think in one of the programs they mentioned Emmett Till, and I'm thinking Emmett Till was a young man. He probably came from Harlem somewhere where it was integrated, reached to a segregated, like he probably, his auntie must have brought him, or family brought him to a segregated place where, like, you couldn't look up, you couldn't look in people's eyes, you had to look down when you see him, they'll call you boy, degrade you, whatever, right? Right. And they said, right, they said he whistled, but then later on we come to find out that how he didn't whistle at the woman, right? Because the woman said it on her deathbed. And I believe that how he's a whole innocent in this, right? Because in Harlem and certain places there were freedoms of things, freedom of movements. They'll be in the speakeasies, they'll be in certain stuff. So when you reach from that and you reach to, sort of say, Mississippi or whatever, and it's different, I feel him as a child, he innocently did whatever, and he got unalived unjustly. And I feel the younger generation is very much, some of the younger generation is not, they need to go and read and they need to watch certain stuff. Certain stuff, learn, I used to sit down for hours, and me and my children used to watch movies, and we used to be around forums, we used to be around certain places, and you will learn. That's how I come to find about the Forbidden Book, where this slave owner wrote about the slave women and how he did what he did, and you know what I mean? It's really disgusting at the end of the day. So I feel this place, yes, burn it down. You can say, oh, shouldn't, burn it down. Burn it down. The suffering that went on there. Materialism has become more important than the people dying on the streets. Yes. Yes. In the other day, I see a whole heap of things going on. Even over here, there's still that they have this thing that, oh, your skin's gonna rub off on me. You be walking down the road here, right? And I always use what happened to me as my experiences happened to me here, right? You're walking down the road here, right? And there's a pavement. The pavement is quite a big pavement. And they would literally walk off the pavement, like walk into the road, not to walk near to you, right? Not to walk near to you, right? They will do that over here, right? So they still say certain words, and you're just like, wow. And yeah, I think histories like this, yes, it needs to be spoken about. Like, yes. But the way how they was dealing with this house here is a good thing. Yeah, maybe it had to go. Because you're making money still off the people's, they're gone. And then you said, and then the lady said in the breath on the Instagram thing, she said the how, yes, and their generation is still here serving the house. This is in 2025. So you're like, what? Oh yeah, we tried to keep them together. We tried to give them a happy life, and all this. I can't even find it. When I find a video, I will put it up, because even I was disgusted. I'm disgusted. I just think that how, like, that's why I said to people, they ain't gonna ask you if you are indigenous. They ain't gonna ask you if you're this. They're gonna ask you if you're that. What they see is a black skin before them. They don't care if you're red, if you're what they call them, what you call them, high bright, lower bright, whatever, browning. They don't care. They see a black skin before them. That's all they see, right? Like I said at the beginning of the live, right? Right, we were seeing a stock, labor, brutal things went on. Brutal. Babies was fed to crocodiles, alligators in these parts of America. And I feel that how nobody can take away that history, because even now people living in mental history, mental slavery, however you want to put it, something mental, right? So they would like be laughing because they see, oh, look, they're suffering. Oh. But it's a lot deeper than that. That's why I played the libation song at the beginning. It's a form of pouring libation to these folks who perished in this house. All right. So now they are released. They're released. They're gone, and they're gone. I wouldn't say heaven or whatever. I think they go beyond that, but they're released. And when you look in the smoke, yes, you see forms in the smoke. You see a baby, you see a woman, you see the hat of a person, you see faces, you see people in the window, you see all sorts of things in this house, right? So, yeah.
Glory days, deliberately obscuring centuries of forced labor, violence, and hardship. By the turn of the century, places like Nottoway have found themselves a new life, not through cotton or sugar, but as idealistic snapshots of the Old South, deliberately stripped of the brutality that created their wealth. Yet these romanticized narratives could not forever silence the truth. By the late 21st century, activists, historians, and descendants of enslaved individuals increasingly challenged these sanitized representations. Places like Nottoway's grand weddings and luxury hotel stays became focal points of criticism and debate. Pressure mounted. Critics questioned why the lattice facade of wealth and refinement was celebrated so enthusiastically, while the spirits and lies behind that grandeur remained hidden, forgotten, and ignored. Then, May 15th, 2025, history would intervene. A fire broke out in a small second floor bedroom, unnoticed at first, but swiftly growing. Flames soon engulfed the entire southern wing, consuming furniture and drapery, spreading passionately from room to room. After lengthy efforts from firefighters, Nottoway's mansion was reduced to smoldering ashes by dawn. The mansion that once stood resiliently for 166 years was nothing more than fiery rubble. The loss of the mansion sent emotional tremors through Louisiana's community and the wider South. Some mourned the disappearance of beautiful architecture and craftsmanship, others, the erasure of an economic symbol. Yet, for me, Nottoway's destruction felt more symbolic, a purging of a site that had long obscured a miserable history beneath its deceptive charm. The fires did more than destroy brick and mortar, it burned away years of romanticized illusion and hollow nostalgia, laying bare a reality of exploitation and trauma concealed beneath. Just upriver, a contrasting reality stands in the Whitney Plantation, where the truth of enslavement isn't softened or romanticized. There are no weddings or photo ops.
Hi, Shadow, and I just chat about the Whitney Plantation. I just spoke about it. It's like a monument and a museum, and it gives an insight into how they were treated. So you get a full proper looks like a proper look into how they were treated. They don't make it. They don't put lies in it. Basically, it's just straight whatever you see. Okay, so let him continue.
Instead, it presents enslavement in all its honesty and dignity, demanding the respect and reflection that it deserves. In Nottoway's fiery loss, we are perhaps given an opportunity to honor the truth, to dismantle long held fantasies, to reshape our collective memory, and to understand the breadth and depth of American slavery, uncovering the authentic narratives long hidden behind idealistic facades. Do the flames consume the mansion that embodied generations of distorted storytelling? The true history, resilient, haunting, remains stubbornly alive. By confronting these painful truths, we ensure that its legacy, the real legacy, will never again be hidden behind columns and grand staircases. Thank you. I'm your host, Country Boy. This was One Mic Black History.
Yeah, it needed to calm down. They was making money off of grandeur. Right? They was making money off of grandeur and not telling the truth. I'm gonna see if I can find that Instagram video of that lady saying what she was saying, because I don't know whether everybody's seen it. I don't know whether they seen it or not. I don't know. I think I did save it. I don't know. Let me see if I find it. Because she was like telling the story totally different. Right? Totally different. Oh, let me see. I think I'm putting it down. I'm putting it down. Let's see. She was telling the story really disgustingly. I'm just like, wow. I don't think I could find it. But the thing is that they're saying, yes, it is linked to the Annabelle doll. They're saying it has a link to it. So people, hold on, let me put it on screen. People are also calling it for what it is. So, read Playing in Dark by Toni Morrison. Generational wealth starts with one risk taker, plantation owner. So the plantation is ever present, transformed and expanded across every walk of life, every bank account, every building, everything. We still have responsibility to burn it down. I always laugh when the silicon woke guru failed to mention the blatant fact that the playing field has never been leveled, so it will take at least 1 century of hard work and equal rights to catch up. I think that's it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Because there's one where she's talking And people were so disgusted with her. They're so disgusted. Let me see if I can't find it, I have to leave it. I have to find it and put it up. Because it's mad. It's like, how can you talk like that? It's this. Oh, but we was making them happy, or we was trying to keep them together. What? Oh, I can't even find it. You know when you're trying to find something, you can't find it. It's mad. I can't find it. I see everything else but that. But I'm gonna come across it when I don't need it. Probably come across it when I don't need it. It's always the way. But yeah, it's very disgusting what that lady said. Because I was like, wow, that is very low to say that. Like, no one can equate the pains of the people. You can't equate it because you don't understand it. Because you're not you don't live in them shoes. You don't live in them shoes at all, so you don't know. So, yeah. I just thought I'd do a small live on this because I feel that whether people believe in spirits, ghosts, whatever, wanted that gone. They've been wanting that gone for a long time because they added it, and then the wind must have changed direction and then sparked it up again. So the wind changed direction, sparked it up again, and they're saying it's down to the type of wood it was, this and that, blah blah blah. Maybe, but I just feel that you had to calm down. Simple. You lot was making money off of it. You lot was making money off of people's pain, trying to change the narrative. As my daughter say, Mum, we've got to say it properly. Change the narrative on what that house represents. So the house had to burn down and calm down. Simple, straightforward. And maybe the people was more at rest than they ever been now. And I'm sure there must be a slave grave somewhere around, because remember the slave graves were unmarked. I think Passion Lisa did a little small video on this white couple. They went somewhere, they bought a house, and behind the house they found slave graves. So they said that how they wanted to not get rid of it. They wanted to preserve the space of the slaves that died there because they didn't have names. They just had markers. That's it. So imagine you're just a marker. You're just whatever. And he said he said he had to do it properly. He couldn't just not find out. I think they did put names to the people. I can't remember how the story got exactly, but he had to fix it so that they was marked properly. And I know in New York there was slave graves, and I can't remember where else. Right. And there are stories. The stories, I think the very last slave, they left a nola, I think her name is. Zara Nola recorded the last slave that was around. There's also a book, because I remember reading the book of the statements of the slaves and how they were treated. Like I said, everything was documented. There is a bag made out of skin of a person, a slave person. People will buy these things for thousands and hundreds and millions of dollars, how many pounds, whatever. and they will have them there. There's statuettes, there's the mammy, there's this one, there's so many things, right? Even I think some programs like Different World, I think, showed a better thing of how they felt about it, right? How black girls, because you dress like a certain way, oh, you're seen as, oh, you look like a mammy or something. Limitations of life shows that even though like you got a mixed daughter who passed white passing, that how she would have her mother as her servant, right? So yeah, good, because and there's a video of a lady as the place is burning. Know what she went and did? She went and she poured libation in the same spot. She gave them their rum and let them, you know, because everything's significant. Everything has a reason. There's a reason why this place is burned down. There's a reason, and maybe it's a wake up call. Or there's been many wake up calls before where like the people fought the people and the man take up the chair and he hit the man on the head and it was immortalized for a long time. But you still have to remember these people that fought for us. People talk about Harriet Tubman. Oh, she must have been this. Harriet Tubman is a hero. There's loads of them who was heroes. Maybe some of them did sell out. Some of them did, and some of them didn't. And you have to check for the ones that didn't. And this is a symbol to show to people. So show us. Well, I don't say us as a people. To show me and you, whoever, that certain things needs to go. Certain things need to stand. And certain things need to go. If they are not dealing with the thing in a respectful manner, right? In a respectful manner of the people and their suffering, there is something wrong. Because Auschwitz is there. Hi, Alex. Auschwitz is there. You cannot be going and having weddings and parties on Auschwitz. People will be looking at you really quite funny if you went and did that. If you went and you told a half a story on Auschwitz, then you told a story, you tell a little bit, and then you change it up to suit your narrative. Auschwitz stands there as a symbol to the people suffering, and that's how this house is. This house was a symbol of suffering. The suffering and what people went through. And I wish I could find a video of the lady talking Ross, because I really want to show it. If you haven't seen it, I really want to show it. I just can't find it. It's mad that I can't find it. If I find it, I'm gonna have to project it another way, because yeah. So the place had to calm down. And who crying over it? The ones who crying over it, you lot should be glad that those souls went. Them souls is gone. Right? I wonder if the priest is gonna try and go down there, pour their libations and do what they gotta do. You know, because that needs to be done now. You know what I'm saying? In that same spot. Even Whitney, I feel they need to go down to Whitney, pour their libations, visit it, obviously, pour your libations. Do what you have to do. Right? Even here, there's streets called after what they were doing as well. I see people in England starting to stand up against the mass immigration uprising happening. Oh, I'm not talking about that right now, Alex. I'm talking about this plantation burning down because, yeah, I feel it had to come down. I can't find it for the life of me. Maybe I'm not supposed to show it. Maybe I'm not supposed to show it. Maybe I'm supposed to leave it like as I've left it now. Actually, you know who was the first person to own slavery in America legally? Anthony Johnson. He was black. Things they leave out of history. You say some things, and I don't know. I have to look at that. I don't know, because you say certain things, and like, yeah, I have to. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything on that one. You say that, but that says differently. That says differently. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave it right here because I know I have a appointment coming through. Somebody's gonna come check this place, and I'll see. We'll talk. Well, I want to talk about the dolly, but I'll leave that in time. You know what I mean? Because I've spoken about that dolly before. I spoke about that doll before, her and Robert. So I feel, yeah, she might have triggered off something. That's all I think on that level. She triggered off something, and the thing bond up, and people needs to take note of that. That's as significant as it is. It might be very significant, and I'm trying to find the thing. Oh, here it is. Oh, here it is. I found it. Yes, I found it. See. So I'm in a lie. How truth zone. So I'm in a lie. Look at here. This lady annoys my life. Hold on.
They had a wife and children by the whole family so that they would never be separated. And so that was good for them. Then in the village, he built a cottage for each of those families so they could have to share with multiple families and squeeze into one space. So that was good too. They could hunt, they could fish, so they could buy for their own food. And they also built a hospital for them, and there was a doctor who would visit every week. And the doctor trained one of the slaves to be a nurse to take care of them. So from the readings that we had, it sounds like the slaves were treated fairly well as a slave can be treated, considering the conditions. When the war ended, the majority of the slaves stayed here. And we actually have descendants of the slaves who still work here today. Pretty amazing.
You got to move. You got to move.
He had the most in this region, and that's because when he purchased a slave, if the slave had a wife and children, he'd buy the whole family so that they would never be separated. And so that was good for them. And then in the village, he built a cottage for each of those families so they could have to share with multiple families and squeeze into one space. So that was good too. They could hunt, they could fish, so they could buy for their own food. And they also built a hospital for them, and there was a doctor who would visit every week. And the doctor trained one of the slaves to be a nurse to take care of them. So from the readings that we had, it sounds like the slaves were treated fairly well as a slave can be treated, considering the conditions. When the war ended, the majority of the
You see how they were changing up story? He had to bond on. He had to bond on. I'm sorry, people. He had to bond on. He had to go. This lady, what she's saying right here alone, just says it all. He had to bond on. He had to go. Even the black lady walking past her, I think she's a worker there. No, it's just crazy. It's just, yeah. He had to go. Done. Story done. He had to go. He had to finish it. Done. Anybody's crying this and thinking, because they're thinking of the cost, the money, probably they was going to sell it, whatever else they was going to do to it. But further down, I think there's another one they say they call Whitney, and that's like a museum. And they show realistically what they went through. Like, you know, they have when they were bad, they would cut off their heads, put them on a stick thing, and put on display so the other slaves can see them. They will be in an iron thing, like a jail, an iron jail. The houses in which they lived, the churches, that's like, you know, certain stuff. So and also there's records of lynchings, skins, like after lynchings, which I know some of you do know about. Like, they will make it a cookout or a picnic, however you want to put it. Like, they will come and they will do soirees. You know, I think there is a movie that depicts it well. Like I said, it's Goodnight Uncle Tom. It's made in Brazil, and they depict that. So I remember watching that and getting so mad. I got so mad. That's all I can say. I literally had to give certain movies a break. That's why I didn't want to watch Harriet Tubman at first. I didn't want to watch 12 Years a Slave. I think Nat Turner was the one that I watched more because of who Nat Turner was. But yeah, the house have to burn down. Once again, the house have to go. The house had to go. Right now, there's a whole plantation house in Barbados where even the people in Barbados can't even step into. They can't even go on near it. I think it's owned by MP over here. I did do a build on it. I can't remember how long back. I used to do builds on a lot of these stuff. I literally cut down on it a lot, I think. But yeah. So yeah, slave movies are very. I mean, it's no, right, from my own opinion. Yes, when you see the actor play it really good, especially a white actor, you really have to look at him and think, "Wow, is that how you feel for real?" Yeah, I remember, right, because I used to be. I'm a fan. I was a fan of who was I a fan of? What's his name? Sure, let me forget him name. The one from oh, I forgot his name now. There's one, I was a fan of him, and he turned up in one of their movie there, and he played it with such conviction. I said, bloody hell, is that truly how I feel? That's when they play it with such conviction. I know they got to be convincing, yeah, but when they play with such conviction, to me, that right there, I think, damn. I try not to watch them now because I get mad and I won't want to talk to nobody who don't look like me. Otherwise, I will just not want to talk to them. And I'll be very ignorant and I wouldn't talk to them. I'll be like that. But I can't be like that. You know what I mean? In certain places, you have to mix and some people will dislike you, hate you, whatever. Even the other day when I put on my post about that lady, this lady, I don't know what is her problem. I really don't know. She's like Russian looking. I don't even know. And right, I kind of stick out. I think I don't stick out. I know I'm not the only person who dressed the way I dress, but she has this look on her face, like, you know, somebody like, ugh. You're thinking to yourself, what is your problem? Like, you know what I mean? So over here, they like every single day, because of the change of politics and certain things is going on, people tend to show their asses a little more. The police particularly is the worst when it comes to certain things, but then certain people do feed into the statistics over here. Certain people feed into the statistics over here. I remember being self-employed and being able to do certain stuff. I was catering to everybody, white, black, Indian, indifference. I was doing what Ringo Vision was doing, kind of thing, but not like feeding the people. I was doing service in another way. And um, um, and what I found was there were some very ignorant people and some people who's very informative. Is when you're talking to people, then you find out how informative about certain things they are. Some people don't like it when you talk about black plight. They get very irritated by it. And when you're in a room like me, I tend to see things black and white. I'm not biased about anything. Some things sometimes I think it all depends on what it is. I'll be biased about, and some things I'm not. So when I'm in a room, right, our voice say certain stuff, and I'll be it'll be unpopular opinion, but I'll be telling the truth on certain stuff, how I feel as a black woman on certain stuff, and I'll listen to the other person's opinion, and then I'll try to reason it out. But I like discussions. I like to hear what other people feel. But there is a divide over here too, a little bit. You can see there's a little bit of a divide on certain stuff. People will gladly eat the food, the culture, they feed into the culture, but they don't like the people. They will feed into the worst part of the culture, and they won't feed into the best part of the culture. They will rather, when they see you walking on the road, some of them will literally walk off the pavement into the road to avoid you and go around you. Like you're talking, they will want to bust through you as you're talking. There's a lot of little things that goes on over here. Like my grandmother always spoke about when she was a nurse, and I always talk about the Caribbean plight, the Windrush era over here, because I feel it's important that how people understand, like though people in the UK are over here, the plight is the same in a kind of way. It's not that much difference. The only difference is that how, right, that how we probably see things a little different on certain stuff, but then I personally can understand. I don't see no division in America, black people to me, and someone who's in a black person in Japan, a black person. I don't see that. All I see is people sometimes, and people don't get it. So yeah, racism is over here. Yes, it is over here. It is over here. Keith Lee, when he came over here, he felt it. He spoke about someone being racist towards him. He spoke about it as an American black man coming from the Americas, coming over to the UK, and like there is spaces over here where like you are not welcome, and there is spaces over here where you are welcome. And me and my daughter, when we research certain spaces, there's certain spaces that's near me, and that's all linked to slavery as well. So yeah, yeah, that's how I look at it. So to me, what happened right now is a sign to those who understand what's going on, right? Even in the burning of the place. Oh, are you from the UK? Yes, I am. Yeah, sorry. The burning of the place, you do actually see forms on top of the house or people. You see them in the windows, you see them on the top of the house, you see them on the side, you see them on the middle of the porch, I think it is. You see people all on the porch, you see them, they're standing there, right? So even though people have done memes on this house, right, it's the truth. That's how they will be feeling. They'll be feeling happy that this place is gone. Like, so, you know, I was gonna find the one of the people dancing, but I can't find it. But yeah, they say one of the plantations was up for sale. I think this house was up for sale. They have plantations on sale, the historical sites, for lots of money, lots of money in Louisiana. I think this house was part of the sale. I don't know if it was part of the sale. I can't see it on there. Let me see. I can show you because they have them for sale. They're gone for sale. These spots are for sale. I think that's one of the houses. Oh, this is Bayside Plantation. Bayside Plantation, sorry. Bayside Plantation. It's up for sale. I just think you aren't allowed inside of the houses. So, yeah, that's how I feel about the whole thing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come off because I said all I had to say on this one. I want to do some more bills, but I normally just do talks on mummy sector stuff or whatever. I don't really do bills as much as I used to before. I've cut down on it a lot, but I do come up and I do put up my Trinidadian history as much as I can, and I do reviews on carbonation cult. Yeah, I do a few things on it, and I have another one that I do taboos on, different types of taboos, prison escape, downloading, abuse. Yeah. Let me see. I don't think I got my picture up again. Lady's disgusting, man. She's disgusting, man. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find my picture. Where is it? Oh, I can't find my picture. Oh, my ears ringing. Hold on. I want to play this song, I know I got to edit it, Yeah. So, so when you see me, I'll be talking, but I sometimes talk about stuff like this. If I see something that really gets me, I will talk about it. I don't necessarily do as much conscious talking as I did before, but I talk about other stuff, yes, but yeah. So I'm gonna. Oh, I don't even like this picture. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it. Right, and I'm gonna play my song, and I'm gonna go. So you can leave in the comments what you think all this signifies, and I'm fine because I will listen as long as you're not disrespectful and all that sort of stuff. I would respond. Right. I don't like disrespectful chat in my chat. I don't like disrespectful in my comments. I literally would delete you. I don't even care who you are. I don't care. I would just delete you. Done. You know what I mean? But yeah. So what I'm gonna do, so let me take you back to the top. It's a very long song, but it's not even a song, it's a libation song, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play it and then I'm gonna come off and I'll see you in the next live. Sometimes I talk about the mummy sector, sometimes I talk about little things. So like, yeah, so you have to just come in, and then if you don't, if not, but I'll just turn up in chat sometimes. I turn up in chats, that's why I do sometimes. Oh yeah, so let me say bye to the people. Thank you, Prime, for coming through. Sonia Adventures. Oh, my head's hurting me now. Ebony Locks. Shadow. Alex, as usual. Alex is good at numerology. So I think Alex is good at numerology. Yeah. True Zone. And yeah. Thank you for coming. And I will just play me tune. Hold on, let me play it. I'll probably have to cut it out, but it's okay.
Ancient ancestors, we pour. We pour for the ones who taught us who we are. We pour for the freedom fighters that stood for what was and is right. We pour for our personal ancestors, those that gave birth to us, nurtured us, and taught us. We pour. We pour to welcome the present moment and to salute the ever-present now. We pour. We pour for our future generations as we build for them, so that they can one day pour for us. Bless the water. We give thanks to the spirit of the water. We thank her for her many blessings. Ashe. Creator of heaven and earth, send the breath of goodness to us. Bring good health to us. Command the forces of heaven to come before us. Creator of heaven and earth, send the breath of the elders that have gone to heaven to prevent confusion and destruction. Command the water to bring improved conditions in your name. Ashe. Omi tutu, ona tutu, ire tutu, ori tutu, tutu eshu, tutu orisha, tutu egumi, tutu bogo egu, ara oru, tiemelese, olodumare, tutu laroye. Cool, fresh water, fresh in my road, fresh in my house, fresh in my head, fresh in Eshu, fresh in Orisha, fresh in my ancestors, fresh in all the ancestors that sit at the feet of Olodumare. May a calm messenger precede all our prayers. We give homage, we salute all the ancestors that sit at your feet. Ashe. We give praise to the owner of existence. We call upon and give praise to the owner of this day. We call upon and give praise to Orumila, the witness to all choices of destiny, second only to Olodumare, and the owner of 256 Odus. We call upon and give praise to the messenger of all our prayers. We call upon and give praise to Ori, spiritual Godhead. We call upon and give praise to Baba Ishu, the road opener. We call upon Ogun, remover of obstructions. We call upon and give praise to all the ancestors that preceded the birth of those that came into the world. We praise all the energies of the north, south, east, and west. call upon and give praise to the ancient ancestral mothers. We call upon and give praise to all the ancestors that have escaped the wheel of reincarnation. Deathlessness is the father of good character. We call upon and give praise to all the ancestors of good character. We call upon and give praise to all the children of the world. We call upon and give praise to the earth, that which supports us, the ancestor that supports us when we walk this world. We call upon and give praise to Onoku, the essence of all things that come from the depths of the sea. As we pay homage to God, Ori, ancestors, Orisha, Irumole, elements, directions, planets, sun, may our homage be confirmed. Oshedura, Oshedura, Oshedura. We are the root of your root, soil of your soil, ancestors. We are the bone of your bone, the blood of your blood, ancestors. We ask that you further lead and guide us to a higher understanding. We send our love and gratitude for you through your ancient struggle, through your ancient endurance, and through your ancient love is how we now take the blessings of life. Is how we now walk this day, informed by your vision. Old ones, hear our prayers, so that we may walk this day empowered by your love. We pour this libation from our hearts to you. We pour. Ashe.
Thank you for coming, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.